Good afternoon and good morning, everyone in America. I will wait for a minute if someone is dropping in. In the meanwhile, good afternoon, Tammy. Good afternoon, Linda. I'm gonna drop off my cat because I can't talk for my. Good afternoon, Ellen, or good morning. Crystal, good morning. I'm just waiting and walking a bit and settling myself. Good morning, Mr. Paul Stanley. How nice for you to drop in. I'm still waiting for the guest of honor today. He isn't in at the moment. I'm still waiting, so hi Lisa Joe, how nice. I'm waiting for Mr. Ray, Mr. Big Ray. I did send an invitation. Good day, Mr. Derek, Mr. David. How are you all? I'm still waiting for Big Ray to drop in. I hope he will be here soon because he did send me a PM. He was ready. Good morning, Mr. Stephen Miller. How nice for you to drop in. Hello, Matt. How nice. I'm just waiting another second. Otherwise, I do have to send a PM to get his butt right over here. Hi, Aad. Leuk dat je er bent. So I'm dropping from English to Dutch. Hi, Chino. How nice for you to drop in. I am going to send. So, I'm back. I did send him a PM. Hopefully he will come in. Hi, Marco. Hi, Mr. Ray. There he is. Just waiting to get a connection. Hi Richard, leuk dat je er bent. Ik probeer onze gast van vandaag toe te voegen. Ik blijf op de button drukken. Daar is hij. Hey!
Hey, sorry. I'm multitasking here.
Good morning. Maybe I should go. You're going to swap.
Sorry.
Yeah, there he is.
Sorry.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I'm getting ready to hit the road here in a few minutes, so I'm doing a lot of stuff. Sorry.
No problem at all. Do your stuff, and how nice for you to drop in. So,
thank you.
For everyone who isn't watching, can you tell me exactly who you are and what you do?
Okay. Name is Rucker, Ray Rucker. I'm in out of Richmond, Virginia. Took and started a ghost hunting team about 10, 15 years ago with a fellow named Terry Pitts. And so we hunt ghosts and we do a paranormal talk show on Friday nights called RIP Paranormal Talk Radio. Good morning, Val, Jolene, Candace.
Morning. Yeah.
So that's kind of what it is.
Okay. And yeah, the radio show every Friday night at 10.
Yeah, right.
It's about different subjects, the paranormal, but also movie stars, everything.
Yep. Yeah, we have all kind of different guests, movie stars, directors, the guy, gal next door who, whoever has a decent story or a paranormal encounter they want to come on with us, we bring them on. Thanks for having me on, by the way.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. In about 6 weeks, I will be the victim because the two of you will ask me some questions.
Oh,
So
okay.
I took my chance, and now you're in.
Good. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's unique, fun being the interviewee than the interviewer sometimes.
yeah, there is, there is. Can you tell the Dutch folks over here, um, why did you start the paranormal team?
Well, started having paranormal encounters when I was younger, and wanted to write a book on the family. We have had a lot of, sorry, put you up in my face. A lot of paranormal encounters, so I was going to start writing a book to tell all those different stories. And the first couple of pictures I took for the book, I captured a ghost and orbs, and then I was like, well, I need to find out more about this. So I fell in with a friend of mine, Terry Pitts, met him, and we started investigating them and have caught a lot of different types of paranormal activity, and that's kind of where it started at. And then a lot of other people, they were having paranormal encounters, and I wanted to learn more about them. So I started the talk show, and then KB brought him on the team, and then brought him on with me. And so that's where we got started and where we've been.
Yeah, it's big, it's huge. Even
Well,
I
it's,
know everything about the radio show and what you do. And you're the first I have on who also does Bigfoot
yeah.
investigations. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
tell me more about it. I do want to hear everything about it.
Well, like the Bigfoot. Uh, well, I did have, I think, a Bigfoot encounters. A couple growing up in the mountains. I didn't know what they were. Sorry for the noise. I didn't know that they were because I didn't know there was a Bigfoot or Big Feet. And I would be in the woods hunting. We're Native American, and so we hunt, fish a lot growing up for what we ate. And I would be in the woods and would hear something whistling. And so, of course, me being me, I would whistle back. And then there would be tree knockings where it sounded like somebody taking a log or a limb and hit a tree. And of course, I would take a tree and hit back. I had rocks thrown, not, I don't think, at me, but thrown over my head. I could hear them hitting the tree limbs over my head. And at night, when I would be hunting and coming off of this one part of the mountain, something would follow me down off the mountain at night. And that was a little discerning, whether it was full moon or dark or partial moon out. That was a little unnerving to have something follow you down. I could tell it was bipedal, like a human or something like that, but I could never see it, and that was scary. All right, more noise. Sorry, and I'll be done with this. Sorry, I apologize.
Oh, no, no problem at all. No
Okay,
problem.
no more noise. Okay, so yep, I think there are big feet. I call them big feet. I don't like to discriminate. They might have one big foot and one little foot. I guess the term would be Sasquatch. But
Yeah.
I think they're out there. And they say, well, why don't we find bodies? Well, in many decades of hunting and fishing, I've rarely found a body of an animal that has died. Uh, the only deer I ever found was some jackass had killed it and gutted it and left it lay, and
Hmm.
it had only been dead maybe a day. But other than finding maybe a possum skull or a squirrel skull, maybe once or twice each, I've never ever found any animal in the woods. So, and who knows, maybe they do bury their dead. I don't think they're, some people think they're interdimensional animals. I don't think so. I think they're just a creature out there that we haven't, no one has really killed yet to bring the body in. That's my thing on Bigfoot.
Yeah, they also make a special noise. I've heard. I watched documentaries, and they are talking about whistling sounds,
Right,
a very high howling. What's your
right.
opinion? The
Yeah,
whistling sound.
we've heard animal sounds back up home, but my grandparents, both of them, told me that you might hear what sounds like a woman scream or a baby crying. I don't know. They say chalked it up to panthers or mountain lions, but it could have been Bigfoot as well. I don't know, but I've heard those noises in the woods and the whistling, but I didn't know. Like I say, it was a Bigfoot. Maybe it was. I know it wasn't human because I tried to find out. I would go toward it, and I could never find out what was making that noise.
And did you ever find footprints?
So, no, never did see any footprints. But up there in the mountains, you don't really have soggy creeks and stuff like that. It's either a creek or it's not. There's not a lot of bogs and that kind of thing. Even most bears don't leave prints because the ground is so up there where I'm from, very rocky and compact soil.
I get it.
No,
I get it. I do get it. And um, what do they eat? Because they have to eat something,
meat.
or are they
Yeah,
hunting animals and eating flesh?
I think so. I think they eat berries, nuts, and whatever else they can get their face on. I've never
Yeah,
smelt them. How they say they stink so bad. I have smelt stuff in the woods, but I attribute it to a dead body of some kind of animal or something. But yeah, I think they're like us. I think they're omnivores. They'll eat anything. And who knows? They may take people. A lot of people come up missing. Who knows? People could be on the menu too.
are there many people missing in the area where big feet or Sasquatch are supposed to be?
Yeah, in your area,
In the area, yeah.
huh? Well, I would like to see one. Uh, I've never seen one either. 20 plus years in the military, plus growing up and hunting and doing all that, I've never seen one that, they're well like a deer, as big as a deer is. They can be laying within feet of you and you wouldn't even see them. So unless they stink really bad, then if you're in the woods, you might not even know they're there as well. They're master camouflage experts.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so. It's over here. We have wolves, and I never encountered one, but they're still here. So, yeah, why should we all see a Sasquatch or the Bigfoot?
Right.
They're masked and hiding, I think.
Yeah, I think, well, look at how man is. Hiding would be a good thing. I mean, people, man, women, whatever, I'm talking about mankind, pretty brutal. Uh, if they did find one, of course, all the scientists would want to take and dissect it and see what makes it and that kind of thing. So, unless it was attacking, I wouldn't shoot it. I don't need to do that. Like a bear, the bear's doing his thing, I'm doing mine. He keeps moseying, that's cool. I wouldn't shoot it. But that's the only way they're going to accept it is if somebody brings in a body, and no one has ever brought in a body. There's been people that claim they've shot Bigfoot, and there's been a lot of fakery going on. I won't mention any names, but
Yeah.
yeah, there's been a lot of fake big feet deaths. But there's been a lot of people say they've seen them, and there's video. I mean, you can make up a video, but friend of mine, Daniel Benoit, he heads up BFRO here in Virginia, and he has cast of Sasquatch. I've looked at him. I've seen bear track. A lot of times what somebody might mistake as a Bigfoot imprint would be a double step bear track, because he had that up there last year when we went up and hung out with him for a while. So, I've seen the different tracks in the woods, but I could tell right then and there it was a double step bear track where they had their front paw and then step in it with their back paw. That's what I mean by a double step. And so I could tell he had that, and that's what it said. I said, that's a double step bear track. He says, yep, you're right. But he had a couple on the table that I couldn't refute. So it was something, and it was bigger than a man's print. Sorry, I'm going to put you up here in my holder. That way we don't have to be up in my grill. Okay.
You're cozy. So what? Yeah. So I've seen a lot during the past years in the program, Fact or Faked.
Yeah.
Every time there's a Bigfoot video or Bigfoot photographs, and always the stuff is debunked.
Right.
Are there real photos or video who are known to not be debunked at this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of times it is debunked. But you have things that can't be explained, like up in Washington State here in the U.S. There are trees that have been pulled out of the ground, and looks like they've been shoved in the ground, like the top part of the tree stripped away and shoved down in the ground. Now, somebody could take and push a tree over and dig a big hole and then put the tree in it and, put the dirt back in and have it that way. But I don't know why you would do that. And then I have seen structures in the woods where it looked like trees have been bent over and broken, like it would be part of a teepee, that natives out west would use. I've seen a couple of those, or lean-tos, I would call them. But there's, animals that are discovered every day, and then there's animals that go extinct every day. But I think Bigfoot is everywhere.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they are also here in Europe. In China, you have the Yeti, and over in the States, you have Sasquatch. So
Right.
I think they are all related and different sizes, but all from the same family of
Right.
an animal, which we don't know yet.
Right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think there's like, there's Orientals, there's Europeans, and Native Americans, and so
yeah,
like, here we got Sasquatch, we got Skunk Ape, we
oh
got
yeah,
Big
that
Man,
one. Yeah,
yeah, yep, Hairy Man. I just think it depends on the culture where you're at. It's semantics, what you want to call them. But
yeah,
I don't want to go home.
you're Native American,
Yeah,
so you hear the stories, the stories from way back to the beginning of the States, also about Sasquatch, Big Feet, and it's in your religion, isn't it?
yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, my grandfather, my father's side is Native Cherokee, mama's part Cherokee, and yeah, granddaddy used to teach us that. hairy man would be in the woods, would get you, that kind of thing. So stay close to the house. And so we didn't know if it was true or not, but as a kid, you're not going to go out there and be an idiot unless you are an idiot. You're running through the woods, which I would do now and then. I would take off and go running through the woods, but you never know what's out there. And whether well, there's people that come up missing every day in the forest. So I don't know. Some people chalk it up to aliens. I've seen spacecraft. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of people. Okay, there he goes. But yep, I've seen UFO within 200 feet of me, and so I know
200
they're,
feet up.
yeah, right over top
Oh
of
my
me.
God.
Right up. Yeah. So I know there's UFOs, there's aliens. I don't know whether they're taking people or whether Sasquatch is taking, or both, or maybe Sasquatch is an alien. I don't know. I don't think so though. But yeah, had several UFO encounters. And fortunately, they were witnessed by other people. So
Oh,
I know I saw something and they saw it. So therefore, it wasn't just me having a psych moment.
yeah, you see these days a lot about UFOs over in your area, planes who have encounters with UFOs, uh, lights, who can't be, which can't be explained. So there's a lot going on in the States about UFOs and
Yeah,
aliens. Um, but all over the United States, not just Area 51 or whatever. And it's also on video.
yeah.
So will there be more? Will we encounter them daily, or what's your opinion about that?
Well, again, there's stories of President Eisenhower met with aliens. Ronald Reagan had, Jimmy Carter had encounters with UFOs. Different presidents have. Um, I think they're here. I don't know why they're here, of course, what their mission is. I tend to think, well, here, all right, here's my idea on religion. I think, and in the Bible, I'm not Christian, I'm native, I believe, I'm more of a creator kind of guy.
Yeah,
But even in the Bible, when in Exodus, they describe a UFO, like a wheel in the sky. They have beings being in that wheel in the sky. It followed a pillar of fire at night and a cloud during the day, that kind of thing. And there's other different, I can't remember the different parts, but they talk about that in the Bible. Other religions talk about it. India, a lot
yeah,
of stuff, things from India. I think there's a tapestry from France from 1400s or whatever has a UFO in the sky. So I think aliens are out there. I think there's different kinds of aliens. Um, so I think man was maybe genetically created by aliens. Uh, some people would get Christians might get a little torqued off and say, "Well, there's only one
yeah,
God."
yeah,
Well, isn't God an alien? I mean, God is an alien to us. So a lot of times in other cultures, and even today, if we saw a UFO coming down, it'd be like, oh, there's an alien. But back then, it would be like, oh man, must be a god. And you're always, looking for something.
yeah.
So I think we're probably genetically produced by alien beings that came here for whatever reason. I don't know what that reason is.
Yeah, I did study some cultures, and if you go to the old Egyptian culture, there are drawings and hieroglyphs about what looks like UFOs, but also the Mayan people, they have drawings from what looks like a UFO. And if you go out uh, the whole history, in every religion and old um, yeah, culture, you find something what looks like a UFO. So I've
Right.
heard that story also over here before, that we are created by aliens, and it's always interesting to hear that kind of stuff and that kind of talking, and that aliens were building the pyramids, and yeah,
Yeah.
we we talk about that over here also, so
Okay.
that's nothing
Okay.
new.
Right. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all the cultures, even Australia, the Aborigine,
yeah,
have aliens. A lot of Native American tribes, the Hopi, they're uh, alien. They wear suits every year that looks like an astronaut suit, when they do their religious thing. And so, yeah, South America's big with alien activity, Mayans, Aztec, that kind of thing. There's also a pyramid in South America that almost matches the dimensions of the Great Pyramid in Egypt.
yeah.
So something has been planet wide. I think
It
man
is
traveled
everywhere.
the planet. Sorry. Yeah, I think man
Yeah,
traveled the planet back in the day
yeah,
as well. And they just didn't build these things out of luck. Somebody had to be directing them, and they had to have some technology that is even beyond what we have today, because they couldn't make those things back then with a stone axe and a mallet. It just doesn't happen. So there's definitely aliens here. Maybe they'll take
human.
KB, take him
Yeah, it
away.
isn't possible humanly. If you look at Jordania, Johnny, I don't know how to say it, but Petra, it's a huge uh, something, a church, ground, all caved out of rocks, and it's so old. They had to be
Yeah,
working for centuries to build it. So
right.
yeah, that kind of questions pop up if you think, yeah, the buildings and UFOs and aliens. Yeah,
Right.
you do.
Well, I think the pyramids had to have been alien inspired for some reason, because back then those stones, what was it? It was the size of the pyramid and the time it was built. There would have had to have been, I think I did the math on it, was a stone would have had to have been cut, moved, and placed every 23 seconds to build that pyramid in the time that they say that it was built. So
Yeah,
that's impossible. And they can't even figure out how it was made. Uh, I think there was, some people say, well, there was giants that helped make it. I don't know. I think they had some form of super deluxe mechanical devices, or like in the pyramids, there's no sign of any soot from a torch. So back then, they're supposed to have torches or candles. Their torch would have been candles, or a torch, stick with a
yeah,
fire on the end of it. So the only way they could have done that was to have built it up from the outside, layer by layer by layer, going to the top, and never having gone back inside of it again, which did not happen. So aliens, I think, do exist. I know they exist.
yeah, yeah. You have encountered them. You told that already. So yeah, and if you go deeper into it, and then you look at the pyramids, every stone is similar. Every single stone, same measurements. They're smooth, and yeah, it's very difficult to produce. Even now, it's very difficult.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they weighed tons. There was no way in the world. Some of them weigh like 20 tons. There's no way. We can't even lift a 20-ton stone today. So something's going on. There's a fella down in, I can't remember where at, in Florida. He would never let them work. but he built this amazing castle. I think they call it down in Florida, his whole property. Huge stones, and he only used a tackle, the old rope tackle, you know what I mean? See them on old
Yeah.
timey ships. And he'd use a tripod, a tackle, and a rope. And he put, only by himself, would move same kind of thing, 2, 3, 5, 10-ton stones by himself. And so I think somehow or another he found out about that technology, or who knows, maybe he was an alien, I don't know. But anti-gravity type device, I guess it would be. I think it's out there.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I
he did.
I see Glenn is also in. Hi, Glenn. How nice for you to pop in. And he's telling there were batteries found dating back to the Egyptian time. But if there were batteries, where did they use them for?
Yeah, batteries. That's right. Yep, you could use. Yeah, they knew about copper wire. Use like grapes, mashed up grapes for the acidity, and yep, you can have battery just like that. Brillo, you can make a fire with Brillo pad, that kind of thing, if you know how to do it. So yeah, people back then, I think, were a lot more advanced than what scientists like to give them credit for. Because
Mm.
the scientists don't like to believe anything that they can't duplicate in their lab, which is crap. But
Yeah,
so I don't know a lot about modern science and that kind of thing. I know history has been rewritten. Uh,
it
he
is.
who wins writes the history book. So we get history and science from people who have a singular point of view that is out to prove their own hypothesis. That's what I think. And if it doesn't match up with them, they try to destroy you.
Yeah, and that's the same throughout whole history.
Yeah,
Yeah,
always.
and then you get a lot of different stories and a lot of different topics to talk about. Back in the old days with the sewer, that was around point zero when Jesus Christ was supposed to be crucified. There were sewers, and
Yeah,
yeah, in the 1800s they reinvented it, the sewers, after the plague.
yeah,
So everything
right.
is happening again. Only we have more technology at this point
I tend to look at
as back
organized
then.
religion as man's way of controlling men. That's how I see organized religion. It's a business. So they use their religious views to control people. And what has killed more people than anything in history, other than maybe the bubonic plague at one time, religion. I mean, it's still today. Religion divides. The Catholic Church, Islam, uh, big time into controlling people, big time into collecting money, and big time in dividing and conquering and putting money into their
Yeah,
coffers. They don't. If you notice, most religions they take a lot of money in, but they don't put a lot of money out to help people. Uh,
yeah,
that's one case that I have against organized religion. I think if you want to go out, like here, I'm at the house now. If you want to go out and sit under the tree and talk to the dude or the dudette upstairs, out there, wherever, then you can do that. You don't need to talk to another guy to tell you you've been a bad girl. You need to go out and say a bunch of stuff or give me money,
yeah,
that kind of thing. It's been a bad day. Send Jesus all your money. Uh, I suggest you give it to the Save the Ray Foundation. If you're going to do that, I'll put it to good use.
yeah,
There's Glenn. Yeah.
yeah. you always find a good use and a good um, place where you can put money otherwise than the religion. And I'm not talking better about religion. I don't, because
Yeah,
I'm also a believer, but like you said, not the structure. I have problems with the structure.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I think if more religions took their money, put it to use for good things, than to help people. Why is it individuals or like the U.S. and there's other countries in the world too? You know, something bad happens, out you go. Religious churches going out there sending out a ship to help the needy. Has any religious groups gone to South America with that volcano? Not that I know of. There's been
yeah,
some individuals going down to help out, but that was the thing. Like I got a case of the butt for Joel Osteen. His daddy was a preacher, and his daddy died. So now he took it up. Now he got this mega church out there down in Texas or Louisiana somewhere. And anyway, they had the big hurricane come through, and he wouldn't even open his church up to help the people. It was a guy with a mattress company. He opened his doors.
yeah. It's a shame.
Mansion. I thought it was about being humble and helping others, but it's not. It's a business. Sorry, I'm on my tangent.
Yeah,
As KB would say, I need to get off my
yeah.
soapbox. So I'm
I
off of it.
I get it. I get it. Yeah. I have also my personal opinion on that. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about a lot. Tell me more about the radio show you do because it's very interesting. It's
Um,
huge. It's you can follow it on Facebook,
yeah.
also AM, I think, or FM.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every week you are talking with KB to different kind of persons. You have sponsors. So, what can you share about that?
Well, yeah. Friday nights,
I
10
think you
o'clock, we do
froze.
the show. Thank you. Oh,
Yeah,
from Richmond. We're in the Richmond, Virginia area. Uh, so, yep, we do it enough to be able to do that. And basically, it's just like I was saying in the beginning. Our job is to help other people by letting someone else tell their stories. Because a lot of times, if you say you see a ghost, people start looking at you a little sideways and thinking you might need to be in a rubber room. But paranormal activity, it does exist, and the studies actually show that 3 out of 4 people believe in the paranormal, and half of those believe they've experienced the paranormal. So every third person you meet believes there's paranormal. And so that's kind of what our job is to help other people tell their story so other people like out there knows that they're not the only ones and that they're not crazy because you can get that label. In Hollywood, it used to be if you said anything like that, they would blackball you. You'd never work again. But paranormal is becoming more mainstream. And that you mention it, it's we're in the U.S., but our biggest audience is in the Ukraine. Don't know why that is, but that's weird. You know, U.S. comes in like second or third, but you would think being from the U.S. we would have the largest audience here, but no, it's actually the Ukraine is our biggest audience, and we thank them for tuning in because we're just a couple of nuts, and I don't know why, but that's what we do. That's the show.
yeah. Here is still, yeah, a little taboo. around the paranormal, the spiritual world, they still look silly at you. And yeah, you need a doctor and some pills, but by doing this, I for sure get it more open. We still get new followers every day and hear about the stuff. And more they getting a bit yeah, more knowledge about it, like spiritual help, that kind of stuff. But there's so much more in the paranormal and the spiritual world. So yeah, I think it's a good cause to have it on Facebook, on the radio, and talk to different people about it, and not saying van this is it and this is paranormal and this is the way you should think, but
Right.
yeah, talk to each other and look at each other's opinions and proofs and yeah, all those things. And
That's
you
right.
know what it's like
People
in the
get their panties in
paranormal,
a
in
bunch.
the investigations. Yeah,
People get their panties in a bunch about, well, Jesus Christ, he's the only way. But, that's their religion. And I'm okay with that. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. Okay. Just don't try to preach to me about your religion. I've studied it. Same thing with Islam and Buddhism and whatever else. But, that's the thing. They hear that and then automatically they shut down their thinking. If they don't believe the way they do, then you're evil and you're wrong. But you got to open up the mind. Religion, a lot of things that have been taught in the past about the religions is wrong. Like, for instance, transliterations of the Bible. Moses parted the Red Sea. No, he did not part the Red Sea. The Red Sea is not even in the area where he was at. It was actually called the Reed Sea. So, there's different things that have been proven, but still preachers preach what they say and people believe what they say rather than finding the facts out. So if you're going to believe a religion, I'm good with that. But just don't try to preach your religion to me, and I'm not going to try to preach mine to you. I'm going to believe what I'm going to believe. I believe
yeah,
when we leave here, we're going to move on to another dimension, whatever that dimension may be. I've never been there. I've been close to getting there, not ready to get there yet. So I don't believe in there's going to be
yeah,
mansions in the sky or hellfire and brimstone. And that's medieval preaching because they had it so bad back then. If and we knew you got it bad, but if you're a good boy, one day you'll grow up and you'll die and you'll go to heaven and you'll have a mansion with streets of gold. No, that's not heaven. Uh, Hell came from volcanoes. And see, if you're a bad boy or girl, you die, you're going to be pitched into the hellfire, which, another way to make you be good. So rather than trying to scare you into believing in a certain way, teach the facts. If you think you're going to get to heaven through Jesus, that's fine. I'm good with that.
yeah,
But, believe what you're going to believe. But if you're going to, like we say on the show, if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. So if you're going to be a
yeah,
Christian, I expect you to follow the Ten Commandments to the letter and be a good person and stop judging people about their religion and that kind of thing. So if you're going to talk the talk, walk the walk. That's what I do with my religion on the show. KB doesn't like to talk
yeah,
about religion, but you cannot talk about the paranormal and not talk about religion because it's intertwined. It's where most of us think we're going to end up someday because of religion on the other side. And is there a purgatory? I don't know. Should murderers and rapists of women and children and other men be thrown into hellfire? Well, if there is one, yes. And once again, Glenn, open your mind. Christianity is not the only way. It's okay. If you believe that, that's fine. Uh, Not judging. I don't judge you. You don't judge me. You're going to get to where you're supposed to be, and I'll get to where I'm supposed to be, and maybe we'll end up being ghosts on the other side. I believe in reincarnation. Some people say, well, there's no evidence. No,
yeah,
there's a lot of evidence of reincarnation. So maybe when you check out this life, then you might end up back here again. I don't think that the Holy Grail that they talk about as the Last Supper, trust me, Jesus did not have a golden cup chalice to drink out of. The boy was poor. He was drinking out of a wood cup mostly. I think he was talking about Magdalene Mary, the Catholic Church wrote her out of it. She was very influential in Jesus Christ's life. I think they were married. I think they had children. I think that's what the Holy Grail is a child of Christ. So women have been demonized by religions, and I think that's wrong. So that's me. Sorry, got up on my soapbox again.
Yeah,
I'll pass around the offering plate here in a
yeah.
minute.
But everyone has a right to have an own opinion and their own beliefs, and yeah. So
Yeah,
this is what you think, and I think in big lines, I think the same. I feel the same. I do have a religion, but I do it on my own way, not within a church, and that's
yeah,
okay. I'm not
yeah.
bothering other people with it, and that's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah,
That's right.
I think
So
so.
if you're going to be a preacher, be a preacher. Talk the talk, walk the walk. That's fine. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. I believe in a great creator. I think you don't have to do talk to somebody else to go to heaven or hell. I believe if you did the golden rule, I think that would be kind of a blanket thing across the board. And if God would not let you into heaven because of that, you practiced it perfectly, then that's not a God I would want to hang out with. That's me.
I love it. I love it. I do love it. Um, Now, I have the last subject for you.
Okay.
Every day you're having in the morning your ghost talks. In the early
Yeah.
morning, you're telling a ghost story.
Yeah.
Is it did you make it up, or is it something you've been through?
Uh, well, the ghost stories, some of them that I talk about are the book that I've written that I haven't had published. Some of them are some of the stories that or events that my family has experienced. Some of them are things that we experienced in our investigations, and some of them are from friends' books that we've written, like Pamela McKinney and L.B. Taylor Jr. He's a friend. May he rest in peace. Um, Glenn, lighten up, dude. Um, we get it. You're a Christian. It's okay. We're good with that.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's again, it's just some people want to hear ghost stories and paranormal activity, and so I do it. I don't know how much longer I might do it. I might quit next week. I don't know, but
no,
it, but
I love them.
oh, okay. Well, thank you. But it's just a way for me to get on there and do something before I go into the office and that kind of thing, and gives people something to talk about. I guess they can talk about me. I don't care. It doesn't hurt my feelings. But yeah, I do, and it helps me vent a little bit and get a story
Yeah,
out there. Like there's some of them I get from here's Pamela McKinney's book, Haunted Virginia, Myths, Legends, and True Tales. So some of them I take out of books and that kind of thing because people don't. And so I can just put out a little ghost story every day and have some.
hi Christine. Big Ray is freezing up again. So I hope we're not disconnected. And if not, the problem is at my end of the line. Hi Candice, how nice of this one. I lost him. I did lose him. It's such a shame. Um, Thank you, Stephen. I hope he's coming back. If he isn't coming back, I'm going to end up this talk for today, because we are almost wrapping it up. So I give him a minute. Hi, Lisa Joe. Oh, nice. You're still in. Okay, so yeah. Glenn, I think it's wonderful for you to drop in and watch me for a change. So I don't think Big Ray is coming back. Um, please listen up next Monday. He will be in for another ghost story here on Facebook. Do send him an invitation to be a friend, and look every morning 7:30. Here in Holland, it's in the afternoon. It's around 2, I guess, and every day it's wonderful to hear. Afterwards, we have KB, Morning Cup of Coffee. It's around 4 here in Europe, and over there it's 10, I think. So, everyone, thank you for joining in. Tomorrow we have another guest, the Lone Wolf, Aaron Oakes, with an interview. We also have to set up a time. Oh, Big Ray's back. I'm getting him back for a second. Try to get a connection again. May take a while. Hi, Serena. Hi, sweetie. I don't think it's working at all. Now I changed my camera. It's not working again for the second time. I can't add you. Technology, sorry for that. I try. It's not working, Ray. So we're wrapping it up. I talk to you very soon, 6th of July. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Big Ray and KB Rip World broadcast every Friday night at 10. That's over at the States. Here in Holland, it's 3 a.m. Normally we sleep, and it's a 2-hour show, and it's very interesting. So tune in. I will always share it, and you can watch it afterwards. So thank you all for joining in, and I hope to see you tomorrow again with Aaron Oakes, the Lone Wolf. Wish you all a very nice day, and hope you enjoy the weather. Bye bye.